You're here to receive a very special psychic prescription, much like a weather report, for how to best work with the universal energies that will be present this week. And that's the week from the 20th of June to the 26th of June 2020. I'm Kylie Savage Psychic, and this is the weekly Oracle card reading. I would like to wish you all happy new moon eclipse in Cancer blessings, and may all your new moon wishes come true, and also for our southerners, the winter solstice blessings. Now, I'd just like to talk a little bit about solstice, but you know that if you watched last week's video, I did talk about the new moon eclipse in Cancer and the winter solstice, which is all happening tomorrow. If you're in the northern hemisphere, totally different, so you'll need to go and have a look up and see what that means. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment and ask me. Now, in the Witch's Sabbath wheel, so which is all about the pagan celebrations throughout the year, this time would be traditionally known as Yule, otherwise known as Christmas. Christmas is actually based on the festival of Yule. And so at the winter solstice, which is roughly around the 21st of June for us in the south and the 21st of December for those in the north, what we're celebrating is the shortest day and the longest night and the return of the light. So it's all about thinking about what's gone on in these colder months where we've had, much shorter days, generally longer nights, and the cooler temperatures. Perhaps it's been time where we spend more, go about more of our lives indoors, doing indoor types of activities. And then we're looking towards the approaching warmer months. So celebrating the return of the light, thinking about spring and summer. I don't know about you, and yet I haven't, this has kind of bring up a lot of stuff for me because I really haven't wanted to digest what happened for us here in Australia last summer. So unless you lived under a rock, you know that we had mega bushfires, super hot days, very, very windy, and just recently my partner and I finally did the drive from where we live up through Buxton and Balmoral and Hilltop on our way to the Southern Highlands. And I didn't want to go up after all that area was burnt twice, like in the most devastating bushfires they've experienced there, I think until to date. And if someone knows better, please correct me. Because it felt like being a sticky beak, and it felt like I was so horrified by everything that was going on. We got evacuated, all the rest of it. I really didn't want more reminders of how bad things were, and I didn't really want to see how bad things were, how intense that fire had been, and the destruction, the damage. You may also know that some firefighters lost their lives at Buxton. There were some real highlights, community coming together, people bringing things. I mean, people came all the way from Melbourne to, bless communities with resources, with water, with food, with things they need. It was right around Christmas, so they brought toys and gifts and presents for the kids. But the thing is, it was a tragedy for our bush, our beautiful bush out here, for the communities, for people who lost their homes, for people who, suffered throughout that time, and the ongoing suffering, trying to rebuild those communities. Things like your house has been destroyed, and yet you're not allowed to rebuild the same house in the same way, in the same spot. I saw signs of homes being rebuilt there. So, I mean, I really just didn't want to be a sticky beak, and I didn't want to add to anyone's pain. I didn't think we needed more traffic going up there. I think that's really off when you see people driving around looking, after there's been a tragedy. That's a very unappealing notion for me. And I'm a very private person. A lot of people out here are. I mean, we deliberately live away from the bigger cities, because we want our privacy and we don't want to have a lot of people around us all the time. And we want to enjoy the natural environment. So yeah, I hadn't been up there. My partner and I went up there, and I said, "Oh, we'll go to this place. It's called the Cutting. It's where there's a convict railway cutting for the Loop line, which the steam trains run along." And he didn't even want to get out of the car. And I said, do you want to get out and see? And he's like, no, it's too depressing. And look, the bush is regenerated and there's so much growth. And I spoke to a friend who lives near there, and she was saying, look, it makes me feel better now because she saw it when it was all just blackened. Pardon me. I did see other parts of Bargo. I did go up past there because I have to go there on a way to an event. And so I did see some of the devastation there. And, I didn't go slowly looking at people's houses and stuff like that. It's um, something about that just doesn't feel right to me. And if you went and sticky beat, well, then no judgment. Everyone does their own thing. Um, anyway, I've never seen the bush burnt that much, and I had this real feeling, of compassion and sadness and empathy too for those communities that had suffered so badly. And you know, just you can't even comprehend what it would be like to live through something like that. And we live um, probably 15 minutes away, 10, 15 minutes away. And it's like, I remember the smoke at that time, and a lot of people remember Sydney being blanketed in smoke. But from my place, there was billowing smoke, and the smoke, it was just so scary. So, during winter solstice, where we look back and reflect over this time, I really haven't wanted to. And then, welcoming the light and welcoming, embracing, the warmer weather to come back, that just filled me with anxiety. So I'm flipping this, I'm reframing it and empowering myself at this time and creating a ritual which is going to support me so I can pull out the things that were good and address anything, like any anxiety I have about summer and bushfires and all the rest. And that's an ongoing thing for me. And I'm sort of really looking at it like, well, what if this ritual is a great opportunity to be a bit more proactive? And, if I don't have the tools, to go and get the tools to support me through this time and to address, what's going on. It's better to do that than just keep, feeling uncomfortable and avoiding that. There's been, so much happen this year, and I'm sure you can relate that it's like I just haven't wanted to think about things. I just have been like, right, I just want to put this to bed and just get on past it. And that is not the way I've always dealt with things, and it's not the way, in recent years that I've learned is the healthiest, best way for me to live. So, I mean, perhaps, we all just have our limits, and those limits are really being tested by all the, events that have happened in our lives recently. But yeah, going and looking at that fire, just the impact of that, just seeing how much the bush burnt. And, this is a really great time for clearing. Remember, this is a new moon eclipse, so it's going to bring up the things that we don't want to look at, the shadow aspects in our lives, the things we're avoiding and hiding, trying to hide from. So, I think that was really good. I think I'll be thinking about things like that and thinking about our world and climate change and thinking about, well, what is the world I want to live in? What are my desires for the future? What do I want for my family, my community, my country, and the world at large? What do I want to be a part of, and how can I be more proactive about ensuring that my vision for the future comes about? So, and I think this is going to come out in the reading as well. We really need to address these big important issues in ways that are digestible for us and actionable for us. And we need to be able to, take positive actions so that we can feel, more secure in our future and in our present, in our now, and that, fear and worry of the future doesn't rob us of today's joy. So, yeah, big things to think about. Not sure if I'm expressing this all clearly enough. Sometimes I get on here and it's just a bit of a mind wander and a bit of a spiel. But yeah, I really do appreciate that. Now, the thing with winter solstice is, going back to the pagan traditions, it is about, I had the book out here, now I'll put it away because I'm going to do a different video about it. But anyway, So as you said, thinking about reflecting on the colder times, welcoming back in the light. One of the best ways that you can celebrate the winter solstice is to get up early in the morning, which is not so early because it's winter, and welcome the dawn. And just think about, as you said, think about what's gone on, what you're ready to release, and what you're ready to welcome. So as that sun comes up, and just honoring this time. I will be posting a video talking about my winter solstice ritual and inviting you to share some of it or to create your own, maybe being inspired by it, and sharing some resources that I'll be using. So, yeah, if you want to. Apparently, it's going to rain tomorrow, so I don't know. We'll see how we go. And sunrise is around 7 a.m. tomorrow. But it says, go and get up somewhere elevated and high and watch that first new dawn come in. Okay, just checking my notes. So I wanted to say thank you very much to those people who responded to my Facebook page, over on my Facebook page. If you haven't yet liked it and followed it, Kylie Savage Psychic on Facebook. Thank you to those of you who responded to the post I put out. It was hashtag question, what guidance would you like to receive through this weekly Oracle card reading? So thank you for the responses. I've pulled out some of them because I can't answer all of them within one reading. That would just be too confusing. But if your question isn't related to the one I'm going to ask for this reading, feel free to just pause the video, ask your question, and then you're going to pick your card. Remember your number between 1 and 6. That's going to be the number of the card whose message is just a little bit more pertinent and relevant for you. And then play the video again. Anyway, the question I'm going to ask from those responses is, what action do we need to take to experience some positive movement or improvement around our careers, finances, and study choices? And I can really relate to those themes for myself at the moment. So, and whatever you get out of this reading, I would love to hear your feedback. So please post your feedback in the comments, and I promise I read all those comments and I will respond. If you haven't already, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting that little bell to get notified so that when these videos go up on the channel, you will know. The bottom of the screen was just shaking. Not sure if that was me or the screen. Let's hope it wasn't the screen and the computer's all okay. Okay, so just taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, and just intuitively choosing a number between 1 and 6. And you can do that now. Right, remember your number? She said, that is the number of the card whose message is just going to be a little bit more relevant to you and to whatever's going on for you in your life right now. I've chosen 3 cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid. They're our top cards, and our qualifying bottom 3 cards are from the Nature's Whispers Oracle by Angela Hartfield. So I'm still going to talk about the first card. So if you chose number 1, this is your card. The first card being the Anchor card, and it's all that glitters and it's in protection. Remember, cards in protection are just an extra hug from the universe to course correct, to get back on track. So if you chose this card, that's what it looks like upright, but we have it in protection. Okay, and I'm just going to quickly read, because it's our Anchor card, I'm going to read from the guidebook, the message. Pardon me. What this means. Okay, this is a signal to walk away from what you're contemplating. So remember, if you ask a different question to me, reflect on your question. There is a thin veneer of glitter and sparkle that masks something rotten underneath. Pursuing it will only bring about a difficult situation you'll be sorry you got yourself into. Stay away. Isn't it wonderful how Spirit protects you? Better things await. So this card, all that glitters, when it is upright, what it means is not to live life on the surface level. And it's that saying that, if something looks too good to be true, it probably is. And that, not all that's gold. What is it? Not all that glitters is gold. Sorry, that's the saying. So what I want for you to know, and in relation to, think about study, careers, finances, what I want you to know is perhaps at this time, especially if these things have become problematic at the moment, which for many of you they could have been, could be. What I want for you to know is just to be mindful that you don't act from a poverty consciousness or a scarcity consciousness, and that you don't react to that. When the bills pile in, or you've got to make a choice quickly about career, or you're not sure what to study, and there are lots of things on offer and something looks really, really good. This is the time to step back and be really, really discerning, and to make sure you are coming from the best place possible, to tune into your intuition, to get out of your head, tune into your intuition and listen to what your heart and soul are saying. And if deep in your guts, something looks brilliant, but deep in your guts, there are red flags coming up and there's a warning, and it feels like, what, this looks good, this offer looks great, this get rich quick scheme looks fantastic, this multi-level marketing business opportunity looks amazing, yet something in you is saying no. Something about this isn't right. And perhaps even the opportunity, it may be great, but it's just not great timing, or it's not, coming through the best people for you to work with. So even if something looks great and you feel that pressure to jump and make a decision, because you want to get out of debt, or you want to make the right career choices, you want to take a job, you want to, be able to sign up quickly for that course. Even if there's that pressure, this is not the time to make a decision from the wrong place. So I really feel like it's a pause. It's a pause message. Check in deeply with yourself. If you're not sure, get some good advice. Look around your circle for an excellent sounding board, someone who's invested in what's really for your best and highest good. Not someone that's going to say, yeah, I'm in, I'm going to go for it. Someone who's not very careful with their money and resources, or someone who's not very thoughtful about their business and their career. You need a very wise and calm sounding board, someone who is not going to get wrapped up in their own ego, and they can advise you properly. And if something's really meant for you, that's what it says. Rejection is God's protection. If something's really meant for you, and if this is not the right opportunity, you need to trust and have faith that something better will be coming along. Sometimes the sooner we say no to the thing that's not meant for us, that leaves the way free for the good thing for us, the right thing for us to present itself. So even if it's difficult, especially if it's difficult at this time, that does not mean that you need to jump into something, rush into something, be pressured by someone, to be fearful and to get into that scarcity and lack, consciousness and that state of mind, and act from there. You need to stay strong, be patient, and wait for the right opportunity to come along. Okay, I'm trusting that answers your question. Now, it is, sorry. The qualifier for that is culmination of vision, which, isn't this a beautiful card? It's just so lovely. And those monarch butterflies, I've been seeing them around at the moment. And I'm just going to quickly check in with what that one says, because I really like the message there too. Okay, and I do have them all marked. It says, now remember, this card on the bottom is qualifying the message at the top. It's giving us further insights and clarification, and sort of rounding out the message of that top card. Time to take positive action towards your goals and dreams. Be adaptable and fine-tune any of the details of what you are creating. Reflect on your desires and make sure your attitudes and beliefs are in alignment with what you wish to accomplish. Let go of any aspect or quality that no longer fits what you intend to accomplish. So, what I feel that card is saying, don't let the all that glitters, which is not gold, don't let that distract you from something else that you were already working on. Perhaps the thing you are already working on is more in alignment with your values and your desires and your vision for your future. Yet it's taking time, and it seems to be taking a long time. And you have to wait, before you can pick the fruit. So, yeah, sometimes it's difficult to be patient, and like we know that the thing that we're working on is taking time, but it is worth it. Sometimes we just get impatient, we get frightened, the bills are coming in, we need to get a job, it's been so long, all the rest of it. We're scared we're going to miss out on the opportunity, but sometimes we just need to stick with, that vision that's taking longer, because that's going to be more like, the bread and butter. It may not be, sometimes it's a hard slog to manifest your dreams and desires. You hit patches where you're almost ready to give up. And one saying that always helps me when I'm there is, don't quit before the miracle happens. And I can talk about this because I have been in business for almost 10 years now, and I can tell you peaks and valleys. And sometimes, just when you're ready to quit, something good happens. And I still believe that the dreams and desires I have for my business, they are worth investing in. Screen keeps jumping. I don't know why. So, you know, take the action that you can take, which feels right to you, which is more in alignment. It may take longer to be fulfilled, but it's worth it. And remember, you're always worth it. Okay, if you chose card number 2, that's come to the edge, and I call this the Wile E. Coyote card. I thought we'd had it just recently, and I went back through my book. Thank goodness I write down all the cards that we have, and I can't see it there, but I felt like it had come up. It might have been another card which reminded me of this one. Pardon me. Anyway, what am I saying? Come to the edge. So if this is the next right action to take, it's saying not to go for the thing that's not going to be a great idea yet. Perhaps the thing that we do need to take action on is that thing that's going to take longer to come about. And sometimes what happens is, say in our business, in our career, or looking at study, we've gotten to a really uncomfortable part. So we're easily distracted. We're like, bring on the next new shiny object. Let me dive into that, even if I don't feel right about it. And even if I've got a bad gut feeling about it, my intuition is, screaming, saying, don't go there. Perhaps it's because in our business, in our career goals, in our, plan for our study, or in our study area, or something that we're looking at, we've hit this patch where things get tough and we have to get out of our comfort zone. Life is asking us to take a risk, but in here it's saying take the leap of faith and know that once you jump, Spirit catches you. I am not talking out my rear end when I talk about that. I know all about this. I practice it all the time. It does get easier. I can assure you of that. And yet, those leaps of faith, I always see spirits like the trampoline. You'll be held and then you'll be bounced back off again, because Spirit have faith in you that you can do this and that you can keep learning and growing. The soul is all about expansion. There's no such thing as standing still. So going back, if you've, just think to yourself, have I hit a rough patch and that's why I'm looking, for the next shiny thing? Is it because my business is asking me to grow in a certain direction and to, do more and be more and take risks, and I feel uncomfortable about that and scared and anxious about that, or I don't have the right support for that, I don't know how to do it, and I'm letting all of that get to me and sort of dissuade me and, discourage me and turn me away from what it is I really need to do. So just if that makes sense to you and that resonates with you, just have a think about it, let that land. But this is saying, this is a great card because it's saying take the risk, take the leap of faith. You're going to be supported, you're going to be held, and you're going to shift and grow through this to something better. Yay! Terrific message. The qualifier for this, which you'll love as well, is bountiful harvest. So what this card is saying too, when you do take that leap, the rewards are going to be so much bigger than if you got distracted by, the quick rich, get rich scheme. The thing that's flashy and looks amazing and everyone's jumping on it and you want to go do that and you think that's the way, even though in your heart, it's saying, no, that's not the way. If you do the hard thing, if you, sort of knuckle down and do the work you need to do and do it the best way you can. Make the difficult phone calls, make the tricky decision. I heard about it recently. It's eat the ugly frog. Go and do the thing that you really don't want to do that you've been avoiding. If you go and do that, the rewards are going to be huge. Not only that, you will have more to share with others. And that's a really important message here. Every time you expand, every time you grow, every time you transform, remember we're all about transformation here, there's more of you to offer to others. And there's more of you for others to be attracted to. So if you're growing a business, this is essential. This is very, very important. Life, it never promised you it was going to be easy, yet it is worth it. And we can all do this, especially when we bond together and we support each other and we grow and live and love one another in community. That's such a big theme lately. So bountiful harvest, look at that. The rewards are going to be worth it. You need to do the work. You need to stick with it and persist. Two other words that have really been coming up a lot for me lately are consistency and persistence. So if that makes sense for you as well, and if that helps you, there you go. Okay, if you chose card number 3, this card is not for you. And I've been talking about this the whole way through. Really can see the beautiful theme growing in these 6 cards. Not for you is about, if it relates to the flashy, bright, new, shiny thing, the thing that looks really good, it's glittery and gold and it's calling your name, and yet intuitively it's not for you. It's not a good thing. This card is, like a double message about let it go. If it's really not in alignment with your core values, if you really don't feel you can trust it, if you really don't feel like it's in your wheelhouse and you can see the long-term benefits, not just for you, but for your business, for your career, for your study path, for other people who you can be in service to, then you need to let it go and you need to walk away now. Be assertive. And once you do affirm that and you're like, no, this is not for me, then your next choices are going to naturally unfold. Remember, you can make way for the better opportunity. So, Spirit are giving you that further encouragement. Not for you, but rejection is God's protection, so something better will definitely come along once you can do that. And our last card, the qualifier for that one, I love this, is empowerment. And I really feel like this message is saying, if you stay the course, the rewards, that bountiful harvest, they're going to be big things. They're going to be really lasting, highly valuable things. This is what I'm feeling. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see, but when I was looking at this card, and the details on these cards are just beautiful. Up here, we have some guys in a boat, and it kind of reminded me of Gallipoli for some reason. You see the soldiers in longboats trying to get to the beach. And then we have a horse and cart down here and a couple in the snow. So we have the winter, and we also have the autumn. We have some blue butterflies, and we have the rainbows here. Now, we had rainbows in that middle card as well. So remember, the message of the rainbow is after the storm, comes the beautiful rainbow, comes the reward. And you can see this lady, this energy, she's looking towards the rainbow. The message I got with this card when I put it out, I actually wrote it down. It says, let this time create a greater well of resources within you. And I'm talking about resilience, courage, savvy, persistence, tenacity, inventiveness, and curiosity. So, the message I get in this card is if you stay true to yourself, if you don't get distracted by the bright, shiny things and the things that seem like they're going to be great, but they're not, if you hold the course, stay steady and true to yourself, you're going to come through this time. The rewards are going to be greater and you're going to have those silver linings because, yes, this time could be very challenging and testing, and yet the things that you're going to be blessed with are they're highly valuable things because they're things that translate. They're things that you can pass on to other people. But you're becoming a role model for someone who has tenacity, who can persist even when it gets rough, and who is, who really can savor those rewards and find those silver linings and let them change them. Like this is, I'm trying to think of the words to say. This is deep. This is big stuff. And it's like those gifts that you get, they're going to be worth more than anything you would have gotten out of, the get rich quick scheme or the flashy, shiny object. They're going to be more permanent, more valuable, and more life changing. So now it's time for you to think about, what were you asking? How did you want your finances to change, your career to change? How did you want your study path to look? What are the things, how can you invest in your future in a meaningful way that's going to, be more long lasting? And it's not just going to affect and enrich your life, it's going to, affect the lives of those around you in a really positive way. It's going to be adding, to your community and translate, your ripple that goes out into the world. It's going to have a deeper, richer message, and the benefits are going to be more positive and longer lasting. I'm just breathing this in because I really love this message. It's all about let's stick with what's real and true and what is going to see you through right, for a much longer time into your future. I'm trusting that this is making sense. I'd love to hear if it is or not, and what you're taking away from this. I can connect with it because it feels like something, I've lived through. I've made choices in my life which were unpopular with the people around me, and they didn't deliver short term rewards. The rewards have been much, uh, I've had to look much further over the long term to reap the rewards, and they haven't just sort of been financial rewards or tangible material things. It's been more about, soul shifts, soul evolution and transformation and growth. And these are things, they're really deep things. And I've had to dig deep and live through a lot of stuff to get them, yet they've been worth it. And they're the things, the gifts that I can pass on to other people, which have the most impact on their lives. And I can say it's been totally worth it. Many, many blessings on your week. As said, happy new moon and solstice blessings. I'd love to hear how your week goes. And remember, stay tuned, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.